I have Tourette syndrome.
Do I care? You don't deserve to be here. Now, get out of my face.
Stop! As a human, we can't do that thing to disabled people. They are deserve to be in peace and have a right in education, as mentioned in Education Act 1996. So let us study about it.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our group are going to present about national policies on special education. Before we proceed to our presentation today, the topics we will discuss in national policies on special education are Education Act 1996, Education Act Amendment 2002, Education Regulation on Special Education, and the last one, Professional Circulars. So hi, I'm Noreen. Today I'm going to tell you what is inclusive education. Inclusive education, we define it as a process of addressing the diverse needs of all learners by reducing barrier in the learning environment. We also can say that inclusive means creating schools which welcome all learners regardless of their characteristic, disadvantages, or difficulties. So, normal students or disabled students, they can learn together because they have their own right to study where they want. Inclusive education also should be viewed in terms of including traditionally excluded or marginalized groups, making the invisible visible. The most marginalized groups are often invisible in society, such as disabled children, children in remote village, and the very poor. These invisible groups are excluded from governmental policy and access to education. Okay, so in our country, Malaysia, our government have been aware to improve education for children and youth with special needs, such as our Ministry of Education. They are responsible for coordinating all special education programs in regular schools and the administration of all special education. They only cater students with hearing and visual impairment. Children who identified with Down syndrome, mild autism, development delay, hyperactive, or specific learning disorder, they will be placed in self-contained special classes in the learning disability programs in regular schools. And the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, they will be provide learning and skills training services such as severe physical disabilities, severe and profound intellectual disabilities, and multiple disabilities. They will make a collaboration with non-governmental bodies and community. So as you guys can see, this is the framework how special education had started in Malaysia. Starting from our Ministry of Education Malaysia has provided special programs to the special needs students at preschool level. And then national policies of special education stated in Education Act 1961. After that, inclusive education was introduced in the Education Act. And the last one, part of the continuum of services available for children with special needs.
Education Act 1996. What is Education Act 1996? Education Act 1996 is an act to provide for education and for matters connected therewith. That means the act is to provide education for our people and everything that relate to education. The second one is the act give greater prominence to value in education. That means the act if give a quality and value in our education. Then what is the aim? What is the purpose of Education Act 1996? The first one is to ensure relevant and quality in the education system to become the center of education excellence. That means the act is to ensure that our country get the quality in education and want to become the center of education excellence like education in Finland. The second one is quality in developing the individual full potential to achieve national aspiration. That means our country want to develop individual potential that can give benefit to our country. And for your information, the Education Act 1996 is an extension and renewal of the Education Act 1961.
Hi everyone, I'm Anis. Today I will present a little bit about the chronology of Education Act 1996, and at the last I will present about the professional circulars. So next I will explain shortly about the chronology of Education Act in 1996, just to refresh it because we had learned it before in the last semester, right? I hope that all of you still remember it. So the earliest development of the education system in Malaysia can be traced in 15th century, in which at that time receiving formal education was still a privilege of feudal society. After World War II, the education system in Malaysia faced the challenges of being revitalized and built with a national image on the path towards independence. So, at first, it began around 1950. The Act implements government policies on education that were first developed at the time of independence in the 1950. There were two reports at that time, which are the Barnes Report in 1951 and the Fernwood Report in 1952. The report has been opposed by several parties. So these policies are expressed in another two reports, which are the Razak Report and the Rahman Talib Report. The Razak Report set out the education policy of the government from after independence and was reviewed by another report, another new report, which is the Rahman Talib Report. And after that, the Education Act 1961 was the outcome of the recommendations of the Rahman Talib Report based on the policy established before in the Razak Report. And at the last, the Education Act 1961 was repealed with a new law on education under the Education Act 1996 because in the Education Act 1996, it more emphasized on the education and review of national curriculum rather than with the structure under the Education Act 1961 before.
Education Act 1996 in terms of special education. The first one, Minister provides special education. In number 14 in Education Act 1996, show that the Minister shall provide special education in special school established under paragraph 341B. Minister can establish this education either in the special school itself or another available school, primary and secondary, and can develop the loving and caring community. That means our minister can establish special education either in the special school like autism school, dyslexia school, or another disability school, or can establish special education in normal school. And this action can develop the loving and caring community to disability students. Okay, the second one is power to prescribe or decide the duration of curriculum and method on special education. Number 14 in Education Act 1996 show that the minister may be regulation prescribe A. The duration of primary and secondary education suitable to the need of a people in receipt of special education. That means our minister can decide the duration that's suitable to the need of special student. B. The curriculum to be used in respect of special education. That means our minister can decide the curriculum to be used in special education. C. The category of people requiring special education and the method appropriate for the education of people in each category of special school. That means our minister can decide the category of people requiring special education and our minister can decide the method appropriate for learning special student. And D is any other matter which the minister deemed expedient, suitable or necessary for the purpose of the chapter. That means our minister can decide everything that relevant with special education. Okay, next is the duration prescribed decided by the minister under paragraph 1A shall not be less than the minimum duration for primary or secondary education. That means the duration of learning for special education decided by minister shall not be less than the minimum duration for primary and secondary education. Then, the curriculum prescribed decided under paragraph 1B shall comply with the requirement of the national curriculum. That means the curriculum that can be used for special education need to comply, need to relevant with the requirement of the national curriculum. And for your information, a child in a mainstream school should be taking part in the activity of the school alongside those who don't have special need. That means a child with special education should be taking part in the activity of the school, for example, sport day in that school, alongside with the student who don't have special education. That means with a normal student. They need to play together. Next, the Education Act 1996 require government to first make sure that all special education needs students receive the education they need. The second one is make sure all those who are likely to teach him or her should be aware of his or her need. That means our government need to make sure that teacher will be teach special student have a qualification that's suitable for special education. And third one is ensure that teachers are aware of the importance of educating and providing for special education needs students. That means the teacher who will be teach special education know everything about special student, about special education. Then the Education Act 1996 requires school to first use their best endeavor to make appropriate provision for students with special education need or disability. That means the school need to give their best in handling students with special education need. The second one is publish and review special education need policy. The third one is inform parents or care of the provision be made. That means the school need to inform parents about their child, about everything that relate with special education for their parents. And the last one is have regard to the same code of practice. That means the school need to follow the special education need code of practice efficiently.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Islam Munawar bin Lamran, and I will be present about Education Amendment 2002. Primary education was made from the school term beginning in 2003 through an amendment made to the Education Act 1996 in 2002. So the Education Act 1996 was amended by introducing a new section, which is Section 29A. This section sets out the implementation of compulsory primary education. So it means like primary school is compulsory to all the children. Okay. Imposed on every parent who is a Malaysian citizen residing in Malaysia to ensure that if his child has attained the age of 6 years on the first day of January of the correct school year, that child is enrolled as a pupil in a primary school in that year and remains a pupil in a primary school for the duration of the compulsory education. So, the child must be registered at the primary school when he reaches 6 years old. This was started on 1 January 2003. So, started 1 January 2003, all the children must be registered in the nearest primary school when they reach 6 years old. The main point of the government was to avoid any child to miss out our education system. Parent who contravenes the provisions for compulsory education will be guilty of an offence for which the punishment may be a fine or a term of imprisonment. So, if the parents didn't register or send their child to the school, they will be fined not more than 5,000 ringgit, or there will be imprisonment not more than 6 months, or they will be got both. This is also to make sure that all the parents must be playing their role in sending their children to get education in primary school, especially when the children reach 6 years old. The Malaysian Education Blueprint expects that by 2020, every student will leave formal schooling with a minimum SPM or equivalent vocational qualification. This is one of the mission of the government to produce a good community or good quality of the society, either in academic field or in vocational field. Students who are at risk of dropping out will be supported through a variety of retention initiatives, from remedial coaching to parent and student counseling. Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025. Malaysian Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025 made after the government recognized the current situations and the challenges of Malaysian education. So one of the objectives in this Malaysian Education Blueprint is to focusing on access to education. So that's all from me. We proceed to the next presenter.
Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum. I'm Nurul Nabila binti Zamri, metric number 1821992. Today, I will present about education regulation on special education. Okay, we move to the next slide. Today I will present about Education Special Education Regulations 1997 and Education Special Education Regulations 2013. Eligibility for Special Education Program. Pupils with special needs are eligible to attend the special education program. Pupils who have physically handicapped with mental ability to learn and pupils with multiple disabilities are not eligible. Next, the pupil shall attend a probation period not more than 3 months at a government school or government-aided school. The purpose of this action is to determine the suitability of a pupil with special education needs. The school attended by the pupil during the probation period shall prepare and submit a probation period report to a panel. Panel can be first the principal, head teacher, or senior assistant for special education. Second, the state education department officer or district education officer. Third, the social welfare department officer or persons with disabilities development department officer. During the probation period, the panel shall determine on the suitability of the pupil and notify the determination to their parents. Any person who agrees by the determination of the panel can appeal to the registrar in writing within 30 days from the date of the notification. The determination of the registrar is final decision. The Registrar General shall prepare the Code of Practice. It consists of standard procedures that provide guidance in planning, preparing, and implementing the educational program. Any person who involved in the implementation of the special education shall comply with the Code of Practice. The special education can implement by using the special education curriculum. A teacher shall use the individual education plan and can modify the teaching and learning methods or techniques, the time allocated for each activity, the activity arrangement, and the teaching aids. Any modification shall in accordance with special education curriculum. Question: students with special educational needs shall attend the co-curricular or not? Yes, they should attend the co-curricular activities as defined in the Education National Curriculum Regulation 1997. Okay, it's already written in Regulation 1997. Okay, we move to the last topic, which is duration of the education for people with special educational needs. Their education may be extended no more than 2 years in a primary school. Usually, ability students in a primary school, 6 years, right? So for a special educational needs student, is not more than 2 years in a primary school. Okay, in a secondary school, not more than 2 years also, and or they can make 1 year in a primary school and 1 year in a secondary school. Okay, they have two choices. Okay, for a pupil with special educational needs who attend a vocational education in a secondary special education vocational school may be extended for a further period of 1 year. If special educational needs student enter secondary school special education vocational, they can extend 1 year, further 1 year. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, next is professional circulars. Okay, guys, the last I will present about professional circular. So, guys, have you ever heard about professional circulars before? So, professional circular is Surat Peklik Ikhtisas and is a government gazette issue by the Ministry of Education Malaysia from time to time. It's basically like a letter or report that Ministry of Education Malaysia establish it to certain party. And also it is a command and guidelines for performing a task and service. It is source of power that civil servant must obey. So in this letter, they have command and guideline about something, and that parties must obey that rules and guideline. So who are the certain parties? Normally, the SPI target were student, teacher, school, PPD, JPN, parents, and other agency like NGO and also GO, that they must obey that rules have decided by the Ministry of Education Malaysia. There are too many Surat Peklik Ikhtisas, but today we just need to learn and need to know about Surat Peklik Ikhtisas Bill 16/2002. I have been include that Surat Peklik Ikhtisas within this slide, so I hope you all will read it for more detail because I just will summarize and explain it shortly. Surat Panggilan Ikhtisas Bill 6/2002 were produced for implementing the study period for special school students in special education school and also in special education integrated programs throughout Malaysia. The student learning period for student in Arus Perdana and normal student like us is 11 years, which 6 years in primary and 5 years in secondary, right? But for students with special needs, the Malaysian Ministry of Education has determined that the duration of their study will extend to additional 2 years. That means they have 2 extra years. So total it will be 13 years, right? Okay. The duration of the study can be taken either at the primary, 2 year at primary, or 2 year at secondary, or they can take it 1 year at primary and 1 year the extra at secondary. They can choose it. That's all for me. Thank you.